Since the prime responsibility of state enforcement rests with the Boiler Division Chief Inspector, I felt compelled to initiate a preliminary investigation when I was made aware of a possible breakdown in the quality assurance program at Zimmer, when I attended a meeting at Region 3 NRC offices in Glen Ellen, Illinois. In a letter dated December the 9th, 1981, I made the following statement to Mr. Earl Boardman, Senior Vice President, the Cincinnati Gas and Electric Company. As a direct result of recent allegations by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and a preliminary investigation conducted by Mr. R.E. Jagger, Assistant Director of Inspections of the National Board of Boiler and Pressure Vessel Inspectors, and myself on December the 8th, 1981, serious questions regarding the safety and compliance of this plant to State of Ohio rules and standards were established. In order to alleviate our concerns and ensure the safety of the people of the State of Ohio, I requested that the National Board of Boiler and Pressure Vessel Inspectors conduct a comprehensive and complete and independent investigation into the ASME code-related portions of the subject plant and the authorized nuclear inspectors' activities which comes under the scope of our jurisdiction. This investigation has been initiated and will continue in effect as required until said plant becomes operational or goes commercial. Some of the quality assurance problems which caused me to make the aforementioned decision basically were radiographs taken on Pullman power parts which had displayed improper shimming, discrepancies and uncountability of certain socket wells acceptance. Evidence was obtained wherein items which were nonconformances as defined by the Kaiser Quality Assurance Manual were improperly listed on surveillance reports in lieu of issuance of nonconformance reports as required. A review of numerous weld histories disclosed the fact that the QC inspection transfer acceptance stamps were being used improperly. Kaiser QA Procedure 15, paragraph 313 provides for use of such a stamp only when satisfactory documentation has been provided. Contrary to the requirement, a search of the files failed to show that appropriate documentation had been provided. Hence, many of the wells which had been stamped acceptable under the proviso must be classified as questionable until the documentation is complete. Procedures were not being followed which would assure compliance with NCA 4134.3 of Section 3, Division 1 ASME Code for the review, approval, release of documents necessitated by revisions. The obliteration of entries by QC inspectors on nonconformance reports is an apparent violation of ASME Section 3 Code requirements. The improper removal of hold tags and failure of Kaiser Quality Control to assign NR numbers and enter the nonconformances into the nonconformance system. When NR reports were submitted, also an apparent violation of the aforementioned paragraphs. It was further determined that Kaiser reports were improperly voided, and copies of these reports were deleted from the NR system in difference to ASME code requirements and the Kaiser Quality Assurance Manual. The National Board Audit Team, at the request of the State of Ohio, has been on the Zimmer plant site since March 1st, 1982. During this period, team members have conducted an in-depth audit of the activities of Cincinnati Gas and Electric Company and its subcontractors. The purpose and scope of this audit has been to determine if the requirements of the ASME Code and the Pressure Vessel Code in the State of Ohio are being met. It should be emphasized that the National Board Audit Team has intentionally limited the scope of its audit to conformance with the requirements of the ASME Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code, and more specifically to the requirements of ASME Section 3, nuclear power plant components, and the State of Ohio.